Welcome, friends, to another exciting episode of A VGM Journey. And I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we're playing in today's show is Me Channel from the Wii, and it was composed by Kazumi Totaka. I've got a fun and exciting show for you guys, and we're going to cover a topic that I'm sure a lot of you guys really like, and that is memes. And that this is not going to be a total deep dive into memes. I feel like a lot of these tracks are probably some of the more popular video game music related memes out there in the internet. So let's just sit back, relax, and listen to this next track, which I believe was one of the first video game music memes out there. If you're familiar with Guile's theme, Goes With Everything, then you know what's up. So obviously, I'm going to be playing Guile's theme. This version's coming from Super Street Fighter 2. It was originally composed by Yoko Shimomura, and this arrangement was done by Isao Abe. That track that you just listened to, that was Guile's theme from the game Super Street Fighter 2. It was originally composed by Yoko Shimomura, and this arrangement was done by Isao Abe. What did you think of when you think of Guile's theme? Do you think of it as a song of victory, a song of defeat? Is it a workout song? Did you just make a sandwich? I can't quite lay a finger on why this track works the way that it does, because it seems like it goes with different scenarios and different moods. It could be a song that pumps you up, or it could be a song that makes you feel sad in a way. I will say this, it definitely is a rocking piece of music. And that some of the other Street Fighter characters, they have pretty amazing themes like Ken and Ryu. But Guile, though, he's got the best track out of those original Street Fighter 2 characters. And I think it's safe to say that his theme is probably the most popular one of them all, just because of how widespread it is, and that even non-Street Fighter players, or even people that play video games, I'm pretty sure they've heard this track probably about as much as hearing the Super Mario Brothers theme or Legend of Zelda. If it was up to me, I would play every track, or have every track be Guile's theme. Because, well, Guile's theme does go with everything, it seems like. This next track, it's not so much a meme, it's more like the character it represents is a meme. And that character I'm thinking of is Waluigi. I want to play Waluigi Pinball, which it's also known as Wario Stadium, from Mario Kart DS, and it was composed by Shinobu Tanaka. That track that you just listened to, that was Waluigi Pinball from the game Mario Kart DS, and it was composed by Shinobu Tanaka. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Waluigi. I mean, there was never anything really all that special about him, and that his purpose was to be Wario's tennis partner in Mario Tennis for the Nintendo 64. And I think that's part of the reason why people really seem to gravitate towards him, just because of his oddness and non-importance. But in a weird way, he seems to be pretty important to people, especially with memes. And that people really dig Waluigi Pinball, not just because it's a good song, but it's also the first time that Waluigi seemed to get any kind of recognition or have a theme around him. And the track itself, and I mean the racetrack, not just the music track, was pretty unique, because you find yourself in a giant pinball machine and you gotta avoid getting hit by the pinball and the paddles and the bumpers. And it was so unique that whenever you get an item, it has a pinball machine-like sound to it. Very unique for that track. And I want to say it also made a return to Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. I might be wrong about that. And I think it was also on Mario Kart Tour for the phones as well. I think for most people, the next logical step for Waluigi is to somehow make it to Super Smash Bros. And finally get promoted from Assist Trophy to Fighter. Do I personally want that? Not really. I mean, I think he's fine as an assist trophy, but I think a lot of people would go pretty nuts over him being a brand new fighter. I do wonder if people are going to want another representative from the Mother series. Maybe specifically Earthbound, because this next track is coming from Earthbound, and this should be pretty familiar to a lot of people that are on TikTok and YouTube these days, because this seems to be a newer VGM meme. And this track is Sanctuary Garden from Earthbound, and it was composed by Keiichi, Susuki, and Hirokazu Tanaka. That track that you just listened to, that was Sanctuary Guardian from the game Earthbound, and it was composed by Keiichi Suzuki and Hirokazu Tanaka. This meme is a newer meme, a more recent meme that's been popping up, where people would have these videos and then somebody would say something weird or something weird happens, and then it just cuts to just a freeze frame of whatever, and this song plays. More specifically, the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, ba-da-da-da, that part. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest Earthbound fan, or was really all that familiar with the soundtrack. So it was actually kind of a blind spot for me, but I wasn't sure where that song came from until somewhat recently when I found out that, oh, it's actually a track from Earthbound. I know, get the pitchforks ready. I do have some blind spots when it comes to VGM, surprisingly, and even with stuff that is fairly popular, like Earthbound. And the track itself kind of has a creepy uncomfortableness to it. I think mainly with the bass, it's kind of got like an atmospheric sound to it a little bit, and then like just that creepy what part comes up. And I think it kind of worked as a meme just because it was like a fairly popular game, and that it was kind of an obscure track from it. So people weren't recognizing that it was video game music right away, including myself. But it did, I guess it did kind of have that Super Nintendo sound to it. So it did have me thinking a little bit. So I was thinking either it was the Earthbound or Undertale, which coincidentally, or maybe I did this on purpose, but this next track is coming from Undertale. You know what's up. It's Megelovania, and it was composed by Toby Fox. That track that you just listened to, that was Megelovania from Undertale, and it was composed by Toby Fox. That's going to just about do it for the show this week. If you like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcatching service that you could think of. I'm more than likely going to be on there. You can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com, and you could also check us out on Twitter at vgmjourney. We also have a Discord server for the show, which I will provide a link for that in the show notes, where you can hang out with your fellow VGM journeymen and talk about games, music, and even look at some cool art. I also have a Patreon for the show, and that with just $3, you can gain access to a monthly Patreon-only bonus show called a VGM Side Quest that I host with my fiancée Carly. I would also like to give a Patreon shout-out to John Harrington, David Fleming, John Regan, and Jesse Moore of Game That Tune. So thank you guys for your pledges. I've been waiting to play this song on this show for quite a while now, and I had to save this for this specific episode. Yes, it is a meme, but it is such a good song too. This is coming from Yakuza 0. This is Baka Mitai, and it was composed by Mitsuharu Fukuyama. Have a good week, everyone.
子供なのね夢を追って傷ついて嘘が下手なくせに笑えない笑顔を見せた I love you もろくに言わない口下手でほんまに不器用なのにどうしてさよならは言えたのダメだねダメよダメなのよあんたが好きで好きすぎてどれだけ強いお酒でも歪まない思い出がバカみたいバカみたいほんとバカねあんた信じるばかりで強い女のふり切なさの夜風浴びる一人になって3年が過ぎ街並みさえも変わりましたなのにどうして未練だけ置き去りほんまにろくな男やない揃いの指輪外しますざまみろ